Hello and welcome to Mage, Order Across New York. This is episode 3, and I minimized my own thing where I had the name of my own episode written there. St. Eulalia's Therapeutic Boarding School, which I'm sure is not a terrible place at all. Again, this is Mage the Ascension. We are telling this story from the Technocracy standpoint, which is a part of the greater world of darkness. And these are the agents that are tasked with maintaining order and the preservation of society and the consensus reality for the good of all mankind. It is still, as a World of Darkness story, overtly a horror-themed story. There might be some things in this episode in particular that might be troubling to some viewers. We will try and deal with it sensitively. As always, we have consent lines and veils in place here, safety tools in place. There's ways for them to notify me if something goes too far. So if we should just suddenly switch mid-scene or something of that nature, it might be because somebody accidentally got a little bit squicked out. So with all of that in mind, let us meet our wonderful cast. And I'm going to go in the order that you all are on my screen, starting with Emily.
Hi, everyone. I am Emily. I'm playing the character of Oz in tonight's game.
In which tradition is Oz?
Which thing is the tradition?
Yeah, which convention? Yes, you're a technocracy agent. I believe you're a progenitor, aren't you?
I have a lot of descriptive words. I'm Iteration X.
Iteration X.
The sect is how it is on my sheet.
You're right. There's a lot of words.
It's like a lot of different ways to describe it, but I'm Iteration X.
And it doesn't help that for the most part, the Technocracy does it with the biggest word possible for anything they could be trying to talk about at the time. Yes. Mikaela.
Hi, I'm Mikaela, and I'm playing Allison, who is a time motion manager with Iteration X.
Perfect. I mean, hey, time and motion require management. That is true. Otherwise, it gets away from you. Justus.
Hi, I'm Justus, and tonight I am Nathaniel Gray, and I am a member of the Syndicate.
Who really makes sure resources don't get away from you. Excellent.
It's very important.
Diana.
Hey, everybody. I am Diana DiMicco. This evening, I am Dr. Arthura Klimt, your resident void engineer.
And last but certainly not least, Noura.
Hi, everyone. I'm Noura Ibrahim, and tonight I am playing Belladonna, a.k.a. Agent Nightshade, your NWO operative, who is also who takes cover as that super annoying influencer on Instagram that you cannot avoid. Also, arguably the posh spice of this group. We'll let everybody else.
It's wait. Does that make Oz the sporty spice of the group?
100%.
Is Nathaniel Baby Spice?
I was about to say the rest of them. I'll let the audience fill in who the rest of you are. It's like some things just are what they are. That is true. One thing to remember, you all can influence the flow of this game, and in the process of help us give a little something back to the cast here to show our appreciation. So there are several tiers in which you can donate. I believe if you type in the chat !order, you will see them. For $50, everyone will gain or lose 3 dice to a roll. If it's an individual donor, you decide. If not, chat decides. You already know what I would like to see happen. For $150, everyone gains or avoids a paradox backlash. Again, the donor or chat decides. For those of you who aren't terribly familiar with this, as they work their effects, because magic doesn't exist, it's just science, of course. On occasion, reality is like a rubber band. You can stretch it, and sometimes it snaps back and hurts you. That's called a paradox backlash. You can will that into being or help them avoid one. I don't know why you'd want to do that, though. For $250, everyone gains a temporary dot in a sphere of their choice, which for most of them, that allows them to unlock, quite frankly, miraculous levels of power. And at $500, a major NPC will appear, whoever you want to do whatever you want. Maybe it'll be a friend, maybe it won't. That'll be up to you. So with that being said, you all have, your team was brought into New York in light of several troublesome recent events in the city. It has been a busy year for unchecked supernatural activity. One of the first things that you all were deployed to do was to interrupt a bank robbery, which was a known syndicate asset, to go in and stop this. But while you were there, a marauder, which is a mage who is completely lost their connection with reality, who believed himself to be the superhero, Captain Justice, showed up to try and stop the bank robbers as well. In the process thereof, Captain Justice was permanently retired, and you recovered his cell phone, which had a single number that you all traced to a church. You also were able to take one of the bank robbers hostage through the quick thinking of Dr. Artura, and able to get more information from him as well. And you all realized that Captain Justice kept talking about the Children's Crusade while he was still talking, which you all followed up on that lead, finding out that that is a subsection of the Cult of Ecstasy. The Cult of Ecstasy is one of the mage traditions, as they call it, reality deviants, as you all call them, who mainly access their mystical power through pleasure, more or less. But normally, they are relatively harmless. The Children's Crusade, in particular, is the militarized wing of the Cult of Ecstasy, where they go out and wage actual warfare on people, but almost always someone who has it coming. In this case, they are on the trail of something called the 8th generation, which is a resurrected version of the cult, the 7th generation, who was behind the bank robbery. They'd sent their agents in to, recently they had heavy casualties. They were on the losing end of a war with the werewolves, and many of their members died, and the survivors had no way to gain access to their assets. So they were breaking into the bank to get things like land deeds, jewels, personal effects, journals, and things of that nature before you all intervened. The Children's Crusade tipped you off and let you all know that the 8th generation is in fact real, and gave you what little information that they had. And besides having bought literally all of the drugs on a local dealer's person, you all have now returned to base to report in to RST, your handler of what happened. You are back in a sub basement of Pax Corp, again, a well-known technocracy run multinational corporation. Specifically, the syndicate runs Pax Corp in its global endeavors. And you all are down below checking back in with RST. The professor has rejoined you, having now changed his bloodied shirt, but still having slight stains of blood under his nose as you all come back in from your mission. And he perks up immediately. Ah, yes, you're all still alive. Good, good, good. Yes.
You changed your shirt.
I didn't mean to. Apparently, I was bleeding heavily, and when they went in to help prevent cascading neurological shutdown, part of that was they ripped the old one, and then now I'm doing that. Do you like the red? Tell me, is it too much? I thought Belladonna was always telling me fashion is risk. So,
it doesn't have the same personal touch as the other, but it looks wonderful. It really brings out your eyes.
It's a statement.
I think it's a little muted though.
Your voice dropped by 13% when you said statement. It trended downward, which I found historically as a sign of displeasure from you or disapproval.
No, I just think that, it's just that I'm not used to seeing you in such loud colors.
That time your voice went up 18%, which is you usually trying to change the subject, which I'm going to do. So what happened?
Who would like, I'm sure Agent Gray has a full financial report.
Oh, yes, I do. There was some expenditures which I do not believe should be compensated by the technocracy. They were frivolous and unnecessary.
I mean, what,
Frivolous?
you buy
We
drugs
did
or
get our
something?
job done.
Well, yeah, I bought lots of drugs, but it wasn't real money.
It was real drugs, though.
Oh,
We
definitely.
haven't tried them yet. We don't
No.
really know that.
You see, RST just leans forward and very heavily kind of rubs his eyes for a second, and he says, you all went to a known cult of ecstasy gathering and purchased drugs. Please tell me that none of you took them, or I'm going to have to put you in 72-hour detox now.
No, none of us took any of the drugs
We
because
just thought about it.
if we didn't purchase them, we would clearly look out of place.
Oz, at that exact second, your phone buzzes.
I try to discreetly check it.
It says, hey, sweet thing, this is Roz.
Oh, I discreetly try. I'm not saying it looks discreet, but I'm trying to discreetly respond and browse through my emojis to find the eggplant.
You know, let's see how discreet it is. Give me you can give me either dex or manipulation, whichever's higher.
Manipulation, got it.
In subterfuge.
Okay. That's is it 5 or higher is a success?
6 or higher.
6 or higher. One success.
You all very much see Oz give you this one.
I give her a co-convention elbow to.
Right. RST just sort of like looks right at you and just slowly shakes his head, and he says, okay, you say the mission was a success, but what did you find out?
The 8th generation are the ones that we should be looking at.
What the bank guy was on about? Like
Yes.
that's real?
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, the kerfuffle that occurred recently, where the 7th generation was attempted to be rooted out, was unsuccessful. And so it is time for us to step in and remove them root and stem.
Normally, you know, we obviously have a vested interest in keeping things even keel, but cults and irrational religious practices is not really our purview.
Well, we also learned not to mix the red pills with the blue pills.
Allison, did you take any of that stuff? Because again, your systems could be affected far beyond just what a normal person's would be.
Negative.
Never mix the red pills and the blue pills. Like they tell you that on day one. No, but really, you all are some of my most trusted agents, surprisingly. And if you're telling me that this is our concern, I get it. But I've got to go to management with something more than just the word of some coked out reality deviant.
There might be some children involved.
You say this, the professor looks visibly uncomfortable when you mention children. Oh, they were there?
I know. However, it seems as though this is not a very good situation for them.
Oh.
I mean, we're not talking like, oh, they're around and they're annoying you. I mean, this is like a bad.
Well, I mean, children are innately dreadful, but I don't wish them ill will. Otherwise, they will never outgrow it and become productive members of society.
Sure.
They're like an unfinished dish. It's gross, but still, they should be allowed to continue and flourish into whatever they're going to become. Yes.
We want to give you the opportunity to tell you that, or tell them that yourself. Through a megaphone from very far away.
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Maybe not in actual proximity to children, but
Like a record.
yes.
We could do a recording.
But
Sure.
RST just sort of like scratches his head again and he says, Allison, process for me the probability of this becoming a problem for us if we do not intervene.
The numbers are significantly well above any standard deviation.
Fine. Again, yes, we must maintain consensus reality, but the reason why we maintain consensus reality is for the good of all of humanity, for the good of all living things. As such, I do believe this probably will fall under our purview. I believe I can sell that to management. Did you all look into this church first?
We have not yet had the opportunity. However, the cell phone that was abstracted from the reality deviant had a number to a church. And when we interrogated the individual from the bank, he also mentioned the church and the 8th generation.
Well, I've run it through, and I found there is a holding company for it that is St. Eulalia's Therapeutic boarding school. That does not sound positive, given the context of what you just shared with me.
I went through boarding school and came out just fine.
Yes,
Debatable.
Mr. Gray. Yes.
See?
Percentages do not match that assumption.
I have a lot of experience with mothers of children at boarding schools, and they're, quite happy that their children are in boarding schools. So they must be a great place.
Seriously? Like, we're not going to talk about how just the title, just the name of the place itself is
It seems overly
freaking horrific.
comforting. Yeah.
The professor does slowly nod and says, that is a number of adjectives that taking individually might be comforting, but combined becomes quite distressing. He turns and looks at RST. Maybe we should take a look, sir, with permission. And he says, I cannot dispatch you again without proper approval from management, which might take me some time to acquire. Were you all to go back out onto the streets, conducting a more general surveillance that may or may not take you into that vicinity, of course, he stands up and like takes the manila envelope off the table. How could that possibly be predicted? And he just looks at you, Allison, and he says, it cannot be predicted.
Understood.
And turns and walks out.
But you could probably do it though, right?
Already did.
And the professor goes like, yes. Also, Belladonna, I notice Oz's pupils expanded by 44% when she looked at the text message that she just received, and her cheeks also flushed with an increased blood flow. I believe she may have a suitor of some sort.
Oh yeah, no, totally. You weren't there, but absolutely.
I'm so happy for you, Oz.
What? It's just an acquaintance who liked me.
Good for you.
But but I'm not sure that now is the time. We have a very important mission, and that is, of course, of the utmost importance, and nothing else will distract me from the mission.
Yes, I lost a couple of hours due to an aneurysm that probably would have killed an elephant, but I am at roughly 94% operating capacity.
Yeah, are you okay? Seriously?
Okay is a difficult to quantify status check, but I believe I can function within acceptable parameters to support you and the rest of the team on the mission. Yes.
I mean, you said 94%. That's just, wow. That's impressive.
Thank you, Belladonna. So are we going? Not there. No, we're not going there.
Yeah, can we change our clothes?
Oh, yes. You all do look very club kiddish.
Yeah, I'd really like to get out of this.
I mean, except for him. How did you go to a rave in this suit, Gray?
Oh,
I
God.
walked.
Valid.
I don't know if you understand this, Mr. Gray, but in the city of New York, you actually might stand out more than I do.
That is irrelevant.
We're operatives. We're supposed to keep a low profile and blend in. You're not blending in.
Depends on where we go, really, where we're blending in.
You should
Well, no,
borrow
yeah,
the
absolutely, but,
professor's
like-
shirt.
I could get another one fabricated for you.
Nope, that one in particular.
Well, but then what would I wear?
You could have this jacket.
Well, but then what would you wear?
Are we all doing a clothing swap? Is this what's happening?
Dibs on Oz's sleeves.
These are meant to keep me wicked from sweat and in a much higher functioning capacity. Thank you.
Then you'd better stop reading your
Oh.
text messages.
That is true, yes. Otherwise, you will have a significantly higher amount of perspiration to de-wick. Can I see?
Can you see what exactly?
Your text messages.
That's private.
No.
Well, no, that's why I asked and did not just hack into the Wi-Fi signal. I respect your boundaries.
Thank you.
I myself have few.
I've noticed.
But we're changing clothes. I'm not changing clothes. I kind of like this. I've already changed clothes twice today. And if I get blood on this one, it won't show up. I learned
That's
that from the
right.
Spartans.
We are going to a church, are we not?
I think so, yes.
Then I find I am sufficiently attired.
If you are leading the pulpit, sure.
I've already started turning my jacket inside out again, and this white suit has like a lining that's like purple satin with little star patterns and yellow on it.
Wow, that is so cool.
I leave to go to our wardrobe area, and I come back in full on pink Jackie O
Yeah,
outfit.
excellent. Like with
This is church, right?
right.
Churchy.
The hat with the lace.
Yes.
Right.
Pearls.
Hmm. Excellent.
Is this okay?
Yes.
I suspect you are making fun of me.
What? No. This is like Sunday best, yeah?
Is it Sunday already? I didn't think
who
sped
knows?
it up
I
that
don't know.
much.
It's always, I was going to say it's always Sunday somewhere, which both is and is not true. Nowhere across the international date line is it Sunday already, and yet all time is relative, as some of us are quite aware, and all points exist simultaneously, including this Sunday and every Sunday that ever has or will be.
So it's always
yeah.
Sunday.
It's always Sunday. Yes.
In church, at least.
Yes. Are we ready to depart?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. And he stands up and he says, if we encounter any actual children, I may need to beat a tactical retreat.
You're going to run away.
No, I'm going to tactically retreat. Running away implies turning my back on the target and fleeing in terror. A tactical retreat involves facing them directly as I back away slowly.
You should growl at them too. I hear they're afraid of that.
Yeah, you do your thing, buddy.
Oh, growling. Yes, excellent. And he pulls out that 50 caliber Desert Eagle again. He's like, also, I do not know, their age will determine whether or not they believe that this is an instrument of fear or perhaps supreme interest.
Last resort, maybe?
Yeah.
Only if cornered.
I'm not sure that any children are going to.
either.
No, I'm not sure any children are going to be cornering you,
No.
Professor Sir.
Hopefully not again.
No, you know what?
From the
No,
mental
no,
state.
no. I'll ask
Yeah.
later. I'm just
Yeah.
not.
Yes. Then let us depart. And he holds one arm out for Belladonna and one for Artura. Might I escort you?
Certainly.
Artura kind of looks at your arm and she mimics you. She doesn't link arms with you. She just touches elbows.
This is satisfactory. Do you all want to do anything else before you depart? I know some of you have backgrounds that allow you access to technocratic resources or anything that you want to swap or look into while you're here.
Would I be able to
Probably.
use any contacts of mine to do a surveillance on this church prior to our arrival?
In general, are your contacts mostly social media influencer types, or do you know other kinds of people?
I mean, has not been established, to be honest. I will say she definitely has influencer types, but because she's also an NWO, I'm sure she would have other contacts.
I will let you roll your either charisma or manipulation and your streetwise. However, it's going to be difficulty 7 because this is not your normal purview.
Right.
Yeah.
Just seeing if we can get some eyes before we arrive.
Sure. Anyone else want to do or try anything before? Yes, Agent Gray.
Yes, I would like to use my library. I'm scrolling quickly, trying to make sure that I know what library does, to see if we can find out any more background information on. I know that the 8th generation is not would not be established anywhere, but
you can give me intelligence and investigation, and you can add your dots in library to that. You can give me investigation or occult if you happen to have occult. But again, we all know that that's foolish superstition. And same thing, it'd be difficulty 6. Yes, Artura.
How old is this church?
It goes back to the early 1800s.
Cool. So would they have art?
Theoretically.
Excellent. Great. I would like to maybe just do a cursory glance of some of the art pieces that would be housed in this location. Because that's a great cover for Artura.
Like in the sense you can walk in asking to see certain pieces?
Yes, or proclaiming loudly that you're here to judge them.
Give me your intelligence or wits, whichever's higher.
Cool.
Have we been using crafts or expression for your art?
Expression.
Yep, and you can roll your expression. 3 successes. Agent Belladonna there. Hang on, we'll come to you, Gray. That was 3 successes. Belladonna?
Oh, 3, yeah.
You find out it's weird. You can't find anything. You can't find anything conspicuously. There is no evidence. There is an evidence-shaped absence. Like the fact that there's nothing in and of itself is suspicious. No Wi-Fi, no internet, no emails, nothing.
It's a bit too quiet here, and I don't like it. Is what I say to the rest of the group.
Agent Gray, you said that was 2 successes?
That is correct.
To learn about the 7th generation more generally or something specific?
Any additional information going into this that might prove useful? I would be specifically looking at the 7th generation, yes. But there was, and forgive me, Justice doesn't remember.
Yes.
Oh, shoot. There was something else.
Sorry.
With the church. Was there another entity besides the 8th generation that we're looking at right now, or?
So what you find here is the church, which while it is a tax-free entity, you do find a paper trail in the early 1950s where Pentex, which is a known competitor and, quite frankly, a surveillance target of the technocracy, funneled a lot of money into the church as an alleged tax shelter about 70 years ago. But the trail goes very cold after that. It's like there is a massive expenditure of resources and then nothing.
With that knowledge, were the expenditure of resources on the church itself, like building up infrastructure or some sort of something there?
Yeah, both. Infrastructure, restoration, permits, and things like the money that went into a massive facelift, which again is old now, came from these outside sources. Which Pax Corp, you being Syndicate, you would be quite aware of Pentex, in the idea that they are heavily suspected for having some sort of non-human ties that are not clear. The only reason you all haven't actively gone to war with them and wiped them out is they are another multi-trillion-dollar international company, and eradicating them would be not so easy.
I understand.
Anything from Allison or Oz before you all depart?
Couple things. First, do I, as a player, know and don't want to bring it up because of it, have an idea of the meta plot going on around that kind of thing?
I can see how you might know. Same thing. Give me either perception or wits with either enigmas or esoterica, whichever's gonna be higher, or even occult, whichever's higher.
Not a lot.
But it also will be a difficulty 7 because this is a rationality that you don't really comprehend.
Actually, I don't even want to know in character. I just want to make sure that I avoid player knowledge bleeding in.
We're about to let fate decide what you do and don't know, Allison. You're a competent agent.
Yeah, but I just got 2 10s and a bunch of others, so that's 3, 4, 5. You said 7 or better?
7 or better, yep.
Yeah, that's 5 successes.
With 5 successes, I would say Allison is aware of the rumors. I'll leave it up to you whether or not she believes them, because some of that stuff does not make sense from the enlightened perspective of a technocrat.
Absolutely.
But she would be aware of what they believe, yeah.
And then my actual want is to use correspondence entropy in a little bit of time to run the quantum analysis on whether we should be going in and being secretive or being like using a cover versus kind of going in a little more assaulty.
Go ahead and roll your 3 dice. Also, I'm done apologizing to you for my time shenanigans in your game. That you're like, is this can I roll to see if this is a trap? Roll.
2.
You are aware that either path is a viable approach. However, the likelihood that there are adversaries on the premises are incredibly high. So there is also the likelihood that there are innocent bystanders on the premises is incredibly high.
Okay.
So you might go about it door kicking, which may imperil others, but potentially catch your enemies unawares. Or you might go about it sneaky and, theoretically get yourself surrounded.
Okay. Team will be apprised of the situation. And as a unit, we can determine best course of action.
Anything for Oz? Or is she
Oz has just changed back into the less ravey version of the Lululemon outfit, and is doing their normal stretch routine of just like getting ready to go back out and do the next part of the mission, but does keep checking the phone just in case.
I mean, Roz keeps replying as long as you do. So I mean, she's off the door right now, and probably has taken a couple of things. So she is full-fledged flirty, up to and including asking if she can come by after the rave.
Yes, Oz is very bad at flirting and does not pick up on any hints, and is definitely like, if Roz is trying to like push things into sex territory, I'm just like not getting it at all, and definitely avoiding talking about meeting up.
It's very much stuff like, oh, my neck's killing me, I could really use a massage. And you were like, I know a great guy on 12.
I do. I have a wonderful recommendation to make. That really just great for that delayed onset muscle soreness. Just really takes care of that. Yeah.
Yep. Eggplant emoji. Yeah. So Roz does not know if you're brilliant at this or clueless, but she very much keeps engaging. Yes, Belladonna.
I will just say that if we run into any sort of change of plans, I will say that I have the tactical catsuit or tactile neck situation on hand in the van should I need to change into for a switch of plans.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, I mean the van has you can all keep your equipment, reasonably. That's what it's for. So you all can kind of assume that you've got what you need nearby.
Yeah, so I'll have my civilian cover on and then keep the backup.
Perfect. Mr. Gray, give me your intelligence in research in any context you think you might have that involve like governmental stuff.
Ooh. I don't have any context per se, but I have resources. I have lots and lots and lots of resources.
Unfortunately, money wouldn't help this exact one.
Okay.
I know. Sim made me feel dirty to say it out loud.
Only 2.
You do find some buried records of Saint Eulalia's home being recognized as a foster care center by the state of New York. You find records of children having been assigned there, but you can find no records of them being adopted coming out.
I see. That is most concerning. I will relay this information to the group. It appears that not only was a large amount of funding funneled into this church in the 70s that may or may not account for things that are not apparent immediately to the naked eye, but children go into the system and children do not come out of the system.
What do you think happens to them?
I can only assume, but based on the knowledge that we have at hand and the reports from the deviants, I do not believe it is a good situation. This may be experimentation or occult sacrifices of some sort, or perhaps just more mundane trafficking. But either way, it is a negative situation that may be fueling this 8th generation, and we should shut it down and remove them from the equation.
Yeah, we need to shut this down.
We are in agreement then.
Well, when we say shutting it down, we're not talking about using the professor's method of shutting it down.
No, because the children need to survive, is the thing.
However, the professor's method may be useful for those in charge.
For those in charge, yes.
Understood. You must be at least this tall to get shot.
There are children in charge of this boarding school.
This is not what I am saying.
Sorry.
Perhaps
Roger
if
that.
you paid more attention to what is going on around you and less attention to what is going on your phone, you would follow the track.
Well, Mr. Gray, don't give her a hard time. It's going well. Yes. No, Oz. I'm not supposed to shoot any non-legal adults, but those who are of age to willingly consent to duplicity.
Will you stop waving that thing around?
Oh, yeah. Sorry. I would say it's not loaded. That would be inaccurate. It is loaded with experimental ammunition.
So, Professor, make sure you have a chronological trigger system.
Oh, of course. Absolutely. If you noticed, and he does take it out and hand it to you. He's like, technically, I can only squeeze the trigger 4 seconds in the future. It's very interesting. It's my own design, really.
Please put it down.
I'll show you later.
Okay.
Does Allison relay to everyone her tactical assessment?
Yes, that I did.
Mm-hmm. That, again, there's almost certainly hostiles inside, almost certainly non-hostiles, and you can go in loud or you can go in quiet, basically. I will say the only image, even, Belladonna, you're able to come up with, which is unusual to not even be able to find a picture of a place, I will put in our chat here, is a black and white photo from the early 20th century, right before the Restoration. It just looks like a large stone building with 3 arches and a bell tower. It is very large. It takes up about a city block. But would be relatively inconspicuous were you to drive by it. I mean, of course, you'd see it. You're like, that's a big old church thing, but it's not like a landmark for to Art's point.
Am I able to ascertain the entryways of this church, given the photo?
You're sure in the front, theoretically, through the bell tower, if you could access it. It was boarded up in the last known photo. Again, you more than anyone, not just as an influencer, but as an agent of the NWO, know how hard it is to evade surveillance. So the fact that there's not pictures of this in and of itself is strange. Probably has a back door. Artura, you don't find any references to beautiful art and things like that. So much so, you see where it came up in conversation in the past, where it was consciously stripped of a lot of the art and artifacts and things like that, because apparently a denomination that didn't value worldly beauty and riches had taken over the facility at some point in the past. Kind of the art community was really sort of confused by it, but it's like, as far as you know, there are no beautiful stained glasses, there are no statuary, none of that. The building is old. That's kind of its claim to fame.
Would I be able to, given all the information, deduce that information on this place is being purposely scrubbed, since this is what I do?
1,000%. There's no way. Actually, I take that back. You being someone who makes things disappear and an agent of the technocracy, there are mystical ways to make somebody just not notice. But this is very thorough.
Right. All right. Well, we're dealing with a lot more than we had initially thought. There's something about this place that it's a little odd that there's very little information about this place.
Mr. Gray, one of your alerts that you have set up for your numerous businesses goes off, and then another one, and then another one. Several odd purchases are being made of stocks in your companies and overseas markets. It's about 2 a.m. right now, but it's clear to you that somebody's trying to hostilely take over your things.
This is unacceptable. I would very much like to take a moment and get on the phone and make sure that we freeze our assets and batten down the hatches, as it were, and see if we can backwards trace this to see where it's originating from.
Excellent. You being here in the headquarters right now of hang on, I got too many things going on here. Lost my own thing. Pax Corp. Here in the headquarters of Pax Corp, it is nothing for you to sort of send up that distress signal and lock it all down. After a few moments, they come back to you. A man walks in with a comb over and horn rim glasses and a white short sleeve shirt and khakis, and comes in and says, sorry, sir. We realize there have been a number of aggressive purchases that were made under the name of Artis Enterprises, which is a waste management company, toxic and otherwise. It is one that we have had under surveillance. If I were able to wager a hypothesis, sir, perhaps your recent queries triggered a hostile reaction from some other parties. They were attempting to liquidate all of your assets. We have been able to undo the damage, and your accounts have been properly credited.
Thank you. And I would assume that we have now gone on the offensive as per my previous instructions in this situation. Do not allow these things to go unretributed.
I can put in the authorization forms to management to engage in a retributive action if you like, sir. We cannot engage in a matter of that magnitude without approval. It is the bureaucratic hierarchy, sir.
Yes, I understand. Please run it up the flagpole.
I comprehend your colloquialism. Yes, sir. Absolutely. As soon as we gain approval, it will be all systems go. Yes, sir. Sir.
And he turns burn to ash.
Yes, sir. We will proceed with all approved force and all approved haste, sir. And scurries out of there. And all of you know that, again, Pax Corp is a syndicate stronghold. I mean, yes, this is a general technocratic facility, but, you know, the syndicate pulls the strings around here. What would you all like to do?
I would like to just to rub a little salt, just a tiny little bit of salt. I will adjust my suit close to Belladonna in such a way that she could see that the interior label of my suit is very much a custom, very high-end, very expensive suit maker from Seville Row.
Belladonna would absolutely clock such a thing.
Why, Agent Gray, I didn't think such a thing would be deemed appropriate for your budget and your finances.
My budget is very different from your budget.
Is it now?
In terms of technocracy, yes.
If I notice that interaction, I'll do the same thing. But you can very easily see that this is like a knockoff Armuni. Because the tag is on the outside now because I've turned it inside out.
Yep. 100%. Worn ironically, yes. 1,000%.
Okay. All right. Well, Agent Gray, I have questions as to what you do in your downtime, but spot on. I like your tailor. They did a great job.
The professor says, I bought this on Amazon, or I believe that is where it was requisitioned from. That is one of our many
I
fronts.
found this in the garbage. Can you believe it?
And I
yes,
put on
I
my
absolutely
very
can.
influencer voice. And you look so wonderful.
Oz like chimes in trying to be a part of this like what she thinks is bonding, but is actually shade, and is like, I bet you didn't know that Lululemon has a subscription program. They don't, but they made one for me.
That's so wonderful that they did that for you.
She did it again where she phrased it in the form of a question, which means she doesn't mean what she just said.
I'm picking up on that vibe now. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. You look amazing.
This hurts me. This hurts everybody. God.
It hurts all of us that have had this done to us.
It hurts me.
She went full Paltrow on us, and I feel like that. I feel like that in and of itself should warrant a Paradox backlash, personally. But yes,
I'm certain they have a wonderful affiliate program.
Excellent. Anything else before you all depart?
No, are we, just so we're clear, are we going in a covert or are we going in guns blazing?
Up to you all.
I don't do covert very well, but I'm more than happy to distract.
I feel like this situation might warrant a multi-pronged attack, where we have a seemingly vanilla front with a... I have lost my analogy. A rum raisin coming in the back.
Is that a euphemism?
Is that like a mullet of Sundays? What are you? I don't understand what you're trying to say.
Something about a rum raisin behind. I think we found out what he does in his downtime.
I hope this does not waken anything in me.
Don't lie to us, Beat.
Both I and the professor don't know what you're talking about. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm talking about. Rephrasing. Yes. Perhaps this would be a multi-pronged attack where there is a...
Doing it. Do it.
We're there. We're there. See it through. See it through to the end.
Fraction that enters in through the front door as... And a more militaristic operation is
aggressive backdoor entry. Yes.
Yes, quite, Professor. You are speaking the same language.
Yeah. I have watched a number of technical training films to be able to execute this tactic effectively. Yes.
And I have seen references on Urban Dictionary.
Should I Google it
Yes.
so that we?
Not on the company Wi-Fi.
No.
Yes. We're all adults. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming with us on this journey. Am I to understand then? So the plan is 2 teams, one in the front, one in the back.
Yes.
Yes, we're going to double team this church. Would one of you be so kind as to perhaps pose as an assistant or a co-art conspirator with me? I feel Oz or Allison, either one of you would be perfect for this.
Sure, I can do that.
Can you go, interesting, and pretend to observe
That
architecture?
is so interesting.
You're doing the thing that Belladonna always, that didn't sound convincing. One more time with you.
That's
Snarky.
interesting.
That's much better.
Just give her a tablet or something to hold. And then she looks official.
Do you
There's
have
one
one?
around here somewhere. I'm sure there's one like in the van.
Yes.
Mushrooms.
Yes.
Not that kind.
I open an MS Paint doc and hand it to her.
So who's coming in the front and who's going in the back?
Front entrance.
I don't know. I think I should do front entrance just because I'll turn on the charm or whatever as like a human in this society.
What are you saying?
No, nothing. That was no. I was just
So that leaves
and I turned
Gray.
around and just
That leaves Gray, Oz, and the Professor, and Schrodinger's Damon, who we haven't forgotten about, to go in through the back.
I will take the back.
Yes, I am told I am not subtle.
Team Rum Raisin all the way. You go, I believe in you.
Team Rum Raisin. That's a euphemism. Put that in Urban Dictionary. Hey, baby. Rum Raisin and chill.
Hey, Dave, I will pay you $100 to text that to everyone in your phone right now.
I've cultivated quite a number of colorful acquaintances. I mean, statistically speaking, I'd have about a 70 to 80% yes, just blind. Just sight unseen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
You have to
Let's
live
run the
tweet
statistics here.
responses.
This is important research.
Because science. Yes, because science. All right. So unless so nothing else, no equipment requisitions or anything before you all depart, right?
Just standard loadout for me.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Excellent.
Not
Yes.
having forgotten the potential werewolf involvement, I'm going to keep what we requisitioned previously.
Last time we ordered, we had the silver.
Yep.
Oh, we're all armed.
Yeah. Everything you've got,
Yeah.
everything you had, you still had. Like I just know some of you have things like requisitions, secret weapons, where you can ask for stuff or be loaned out things that you then have to give back. It's just if you wanted to cash anything in, here's a chance. Okay.
I
Excellent.
think we're going full in. Like this is our target.
Perfect. All right. As you all drive across town, I won't tell you where you go, so I don't have to watch Emily throw up in her mouth a little bit as I get New York geography completely wrong.
Not at all.
Hold on, let me see where it, because this is a front for a horrific cult. I'm not going to, even though I have a place very much in mind, I'm not going to tell anyone what it is because that's horrifically offensive. However, this is in the Upper East Side where this is located. As you all drive into the area, the streets are dark. The street lights all seem to be out. There is one car parked on the same side of the street as the church, down about half a block. It is rusty and covered in cobwebs. It looks like it has not moved in ages, and there is no one on the street. Not people walking their dogs, not homeless people, nothing.
Would that car not being moved in quite some time strike me as odd, because street cleaning wouldn't have tickets or have been towed away?
Theoretically, such a thing should not really be a thing. Although I will actually ask the New Yorker here, because we do have a local here in LA. There is a handful of streets that don't have no parking times, where you'll find like a bunch of RVs and stuff all lined up.
Not in Manhattan.
Right. Perfect.
Definitely not.
Perfect. Then yes, the fact that it is there and unmoved is odd.
I want to start running scans with the old cybernetic system because things.
What is it that you're looking for?
Well, just with my own spheres, I want to look at entropy to find out if things are, if their paths are being taken away as a form of divergence. Can also check it with mind, and then with the enhancement system, I can run through like forces and prime to see if anything's going on there.
Before you even roll, the entropic energy here is off the scale. There is a catastrophic amount of entropy in and around the church, but it feels different than it's not like when you're around a marauder. You've experienced that because it is similar. However, you do see a familiar face walking across the street from the other direction towards your van. As you all pull up, you see it is Damon.
Okay, real quick. You have to make a decision. Vanilla or rum raisin?
Yes, do not tell him the context.
No.
Can you say the second thing again?
Vanilla or rum raisin?
Rum raisin.
He's taking
My kind of man.
Come on over.
The professor goes, high five. And he leans over and he's like, I'll tell you very quickly. Inside that church, we think there are hostiles who possibly have kids that have been kidnapped. So we are going to go in double penetrating the facility, where some of them are going to go in the front. Others are going to go in the back. Team Rum Raisin, you've chosen to join us. And I'm not supposed to shoot anyone that is that is not at least this tall.
I know I'm a little late, but who came up with the double penetration name?
Mr. Gray. I don't know that he came up with it, but the colloquial term for it, that, yes, definitely. Mr.
Yes,
Gray.
those are our orders from Mr. Gray, is to double penetrate front and back.
Yes.
Well done, Mr. Gray.
It's
I would
all
rather
he
this
has been
not go in the
talking
official
about
report.
all day.
Did I choose the front or the back?
You chose the back.
You chose
High
the
five.
back. You chose
Was
the
it
back.
not obvious?
It's true. Right. Yeah. It is a church, so missionary would have been a bit of a misnomer. For your own edification, Agent Damon, again, you all, in your process of tracking down the 8th generation, have realized the church that Captain Justice had the number for apparently is a front for something that seems terrible. You've confirmed that there has been money poured into it by Pentex, which is a known a company with known spurious mystical associations that the technocracy has up until now avoided taking on head on because they're another multi-trillion-dollar business entity. Money was poured into this at some point about 50 or 60 years ago. It also is a registered as a foster center with the city of New York. There are records of children being assigned here, but never coming out. No adoptions or anything of that nature. Theoretically, they just grew up and at 18, they just left. But you know that kids have gone in and not come out. Allison ran a threat assessment of doing it basically coming in loud and heavy or trying to come in subtly. And the assessment was essentially, there's definitely hostiles inside. There's definitely innocent bystanders. If you come in hostile, it might put the innocent bystanders at risk. But if you come in too subtle, you run the risk of being surrounded without necessarily realizing. Hence the DP approach.
No matter which way you come.
I'm happy both ways. Let's get started.
Porque no los dos. Yes.
Could I just run a standard? Can I just run these plates?
There's
car?
not any plates on the car. And yes, they literally just arrived in the area in front of the church. The street is vacant, which is unusual. There is one car that is broken down and rusted. They realized that, again, having such a car on a New York City street in and of itself is unusual. It should have been ticketed and towed long ago. Allison opened up her senses to run an assessment, and there is a catastrophic amount of entropy around this place. But as I was saying, it's different. It's not like what the Marauders do. It's not just that, you know, there's reality deviants in there that don't know what they're doing. It is almost just unchecked chaos emanating from this place.
Can I? I'll go to comms and.
I'll say you're all still in the van until you've yet to deploy. This is kind of your initial assessment while you're all still in the van.
Can someone do a dimensional science scan and determine if the alternate realities here are conflicted?
I suppose I can. I don't see why not. Can I do that?
You absolutely can. This is what you do as a void engineer.
This is my thing.
Yep. Roll your 3 Arate dice. You can roll 1 extra to account for the equipment that is in here to measure gravitational rates and extra dimensional rays and all sorts of other things that don't make sense to anyone that's not you. This place is really, really, really wrong. Really wrong. Like everything is like twisted up and in knots.
Not good. Everything is really, 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 really wrong.
That is most unhelpful.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
I think she was quite clear on the exact level of wrongness it was.
I will say now, Allison, back to your previous supreme success with what you do and don't know. The werewolves, their enemy, is a creature of chaos and entropy, of unchecked chaos and decline. And you do know that the 7th generation cult essentially worshipped that force. They refer to it as the worm, again, foolish superstition, but they venerated it. So if these people also hold that same entropic force to be holy, they might be doing something in there that is somehow causing all of this.
Okay. It still all sounds like nonsense, but at least we know that there's a destabilizing entropic force here.
I need you to put that out of your mind right now, Allison. I need you to loosen up and get ready for the performance that we're about to put on. Are you ready?
Well, however, before the performance starts, Allison, you did say there was a couple of other roles you wanted to make. It's just when you opened up your senses to the entropy, it's like looking at the sun first thing in the morning. It's just like, well, let me just okay.
Right.
then-
So it would have been mind to get an idea of the number of souls, kind of people, thoughts there.
Mhm, mhm.
And it was forces and prime.
There are 9 minds in there that seemed you get a lot of hopelessness and sadness and despair from them, but not nothing that reeks with reality deviation. Just basically 9 very sad minds. Then you get 6 other minds that are twisted and fractured, but in different ways. Some of them resonate and some of them don't. You feel like, if you had to wager a guess, not unlike there's different types of reality deviance, there's different types of people in there. Where like some of them are the same, but are different from others. But it doesn't really make sense.
My scans indicate 9 individuals, potentially the youths, and 6 different individuals of various flavors of deviation.
Okay. All right, we could deal with those numbers, right?
Yeah. I mean, especially considering that we don't have to deal with the youths, right? We've all agreed we are not harming the youths.
I'll try and send them out front so that the professor doesn't have to even see them, hopefully.
Right.
I would far prefer no exposure to adolescents or juveniles of any kind, but I do realize on a mission, we do what needs must.
Great. Would I be able to, with entropy, spot any weaknesses in the entranceways, the back entranceways that our team Rum Raisin will be?
That just keeps getting better the more I think about the symbolism. Belladonna, as you are pulling out your phone and thinking about this, your phone starts to ring from a military contact of yours known as Commander Bradley.
Yes, Bradley.
Belladonna, I need you uptown right now.
I'm kind of in the middle of a thing right now.
Oh, matter of national security, Belladonna. I need you to drop what you're doing and come up here right now.
Can you give me any more information? Because I'm really serious. Like, there's a thing that I'm really in the middle of right now.
Damn reality deviants up here. It's just a whole can of worms. I need you to bring you and your whole team up here right now.
Where are you? Give me coordinates.
He does give you some coordinates, which with you type in is a park.
Can you give me any more? How many are there?
Well, it's hard to say, Belladonna. It is just a meat grinder up here. A couple of my men went in and didn't come out. They said it was something with 2 heads and tentacles. It's a goddamn apocalypse.
Oh, shit. Okay. All right, let me call you back.
No, you gotta come up here.
So Bradley's on the phone. Something with tentacles is in a park. Like now, in front of people. A bunch of reality deviants.
But
There
the
presumably are other agents in this technocracy, right?
Apparently not, because he's calling me right now.
Are we sure this isn't part of some convention or another that's in town, or
Tentacles.
Or a diversion.
kind of my point?
I told him we were in the middle of something, but apparently this is wide open in front of civilians.
So not the church then.
We could split up, or
How
I could
far
just go.
How far?
Call into RST.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I will call into RST and let him know the situation.
Yeah, I don't have approval on that mission yet. You know how it is with management. What can I do for you, Belladonna? Because I know it's you guys are just sitting tight until you get that approval. But yeah, what can I do for you?
What am I supposed to do here? There's apparently a bunch of reality demons in a park, out in the open, something to do with tentacles.
What the? You hear his papers flipping? He's like, I don't have anything. Who called it in?
Bradley just called me in.
Bradley called you? That's not protocol.
Well, apparently shit's hit the fan if he's calling me to tell me about it.
Stay put. Let me look into this. Worst case, I'll dispatch another team. I'll let you know when I get that approval for you.
Are they trying to rum raisin us?
I think they are.
It sounds like it. Yeah, it's a classic maneuver.
This stinks of rum raisin.
Nobody double rum raisins me in reverse.
Yeah, no counter rum raisin here.
Rum raisin in the tailpipe.
The reverse rum raisin is a known counterattack.
If they're already on to us, why are we waiting? Let's get in.
Well, I need for Allison to do her exercises first. She's really not loose enough to perform perfectly.
Yeah, I apologize. I keep interrupting you, Artura, because every time you mention Allison, I said there was a third role that you said you were trying to do something as well, Allison. I want to make sure you have a chance to get all of your surveillance.
Yeah, and listen, we all like to stretch before reverse fundraising.
Yeah, because otherwise
we really don't have time.
You'll pull something that's not gonna heal right anytime soon. Yes, what is it, Allison?
It was forces and prime. Those are the remaining.
To know what?
It's just sensory. Determine if there were any unusual signatures, IR type cameras, any sort of.
You get the same thing that Belladonna got. It is conspicuous in its absence. There's always something, just, electronics give off a hum, a cell phone, a PC, like there's nothing. It's like a blank space. Like it is conspicuous in its absence. If not for the fact that you can see the building, it's like it's not there.
It's like a Faraday cage.
More or less, yeah. Now, yes, Artura, please continue.
Okay, Allison, you're gonna kind of shake it out, just kind of a little something.
That is excessive movement and unnecessary.
Who's the expert here?
Actually, I am.
You're rum raisin experts. You're fascinating.
We are the vanilla and not the rum raisin.
Ah, yes. Well, it takes no prep for vanilla. You just jump right in. Go.
All right, but I'll be judging your performance. So.
That is actually a misnomer. That is an easy way to get injured as well. Yes.
Oh, just the human body is the greatest machine, and moving it is by all means the greatest gift we can give to the machine that we have. And I want to put that out there. And if you need any guidance in that capacity, like that's what I'm here for.
All of these double entendres are very clearly confusing, Mr. Gray.
I don't understand what
he started it.
Might I say that we drop you three right here and we take the van back around to the alley for our rear entry?
Perfect.
Excellent.
Done.
I believe the van is most useful in the rear entry, yes.
Comms on, weapons hot, but not against children.
Oh, yeah.
And the professor drops Artura and Allison and Agent Nightshade out on the very quiet city street. Again, there's nothing. There's not dogs. There's not cats. There's not rats. Nothing.
Here we go.
Just a quick announcement, everyone. Goal 1 has been hit, and we put it up to chat to see if chaos would reign or if the players got it, and it tied. It tied.
You know what? We're gonna let fate decide here. Fate decide. So Damon, odd or even?
Why me? Odd.
It was even. So
so you were choosing for the opposite.
That is not how this works. That is not how this works. So let me see. How am I going to do this? Yeah, I'm gonna, because I am nothing if not kind and joyous. We'll let fate decide one more time here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm gonna roll a d6. Whoever gets it is gonna have -3 to a dice roll at a time of my choosing. Here we go.
Damn.
It is gonna be Agent Gray. Agent Gray. At a time of my choosing, 3 dice penalty.
Oof.
Thank you, chat. Yes, perfect. As you all see the van drive away quietly, you all approach the front of the church. As you do, you see that it has heavy oak doors that are all closed. It is about 2:30 in the morning now, by the way.
Oh, okay. I was wondering, like, when did they have church services? Like, shouldn't these doors be open? But
many churches are 24 hours, but not all of them.
Is it locked if I...
As you try the handle, it's a heavy door, but you feel like if you were to push at it, you probably could get it to open.
I'm just going to casually just walk in as though I'm in there for service.
And it opens up and you see the chapel inside. There are no lights. It is completely dark with no lights from the street. There is even only an ambient bit of light that comes in that illuminates the pews and things. And you can see there is a pulpit up ahead. There's confessional booths there, but everything seems completely quiet.
I pull up the flashlight on my cell phone.
I'll activate night vision.
Perfect. Yes, Art.
I was going to say, I'm going to follow Belladonna in, but again, I warned you guys, subtlety, not my jam. Very loudly, I'm going to announce as we enter, I'm going to start speaking about the architecture and how we're going to be changing it to renovate it for these wonderful people who are doing all of this good in the world. And how dare they leave a church such as this in such a terrible state of being? We could upholster these walls and perhaps add a nice faux tin ceiling. What do you think, Belladonna?
Well, I think there definitely is so much work to be done in this place, but I think we could get this film ready.
Allison, give me perception and awareness.
We could upholster all of the pews with a purple velvet. I think that'll really brighten up the space.
It's very drab, right?
Kind of musty.
Yeah, it's got kind of a smell to it. Definitely.
How many, Belladonna?
Oh, I'm sorry. What am I rolling?
Oh, not Belladonna. Sorry, Allison.
Oh.
4, 2 9s, an 8, and a 7.
Perfect. Belladonna, as they very much start going back and forth at the far end of the pulpit, something that you would believe your cybernetic eyes should have been easy to see, but somehow still isn't. Right at the edge where you would go through a door and presumably access the rectory of the church, you see 2 figures. They are both wearing gray robes. One of them is pale, and the other one is massive, over 7 feet wide, 7 feet tall, and so wide they don't quite fit in the door frame. And you see the smaller one just pats them and just like shoos them a bit, and they just kind of turn and lumber off as the smaller one is standing there looking through the doorway at all of you while they're going on talking.
I hand signal the situation over to the rest of the team.
Oh no, sorry, it is Allison that sees that with her night vision and perception. Allison sees that while the 2 of you are doing your renovation thing.
I'll pass it in code since it's still dark.
Mm-hmm.
I'll I'll give whatever kind of coordinated. I'm sure we have some.
You guys have done this. You know that you all are aware that there's 2 potential hostiles. Kind of at 1 o'clock type deal.
Yep.
While you are, and you have the light of Belladonna's phone. Meanwhile, Team Rum Raisin, all of you give me perception and awareness. As the professor is pulling the van around to the back, he's like, if it's all the same to you, I shall stay with the vehicle in case we have to beat a hasty exit, or if they have reinforcements coming in, I can halt them out here on the premises.
First of all,
Oz, I am not unskilled in the matters of fisticuffs.
Oh, I believe you. And we can work on that strength if you are so inclined.
I would prefer you not harm me.
Oh no, it only hurts, if you push yourself past your limits. But it wouldn't be me harming you; it'd be you harming you, which is fine.
That sounds like gaslighting, but okay.
Meanwhile, first of all, I rolled 0 successes, but secondly, as we're pulling around to the back, I want to take my phone and text to Roz and say, going to church for work, sneaky work. This is literally it. Going to church for work, period. Sneaky work, period. Phone on silent, period. If you don't hear from me, bye, period.
You put your phone away before she replies. Perfect. You said that was 7 successes, Damon?
Yep.
As you are pulling in, your superior tactical mind notices a few things. There are no fire escapes anywhere to this building, and the upper windows all seem to be barred on the outside. It would be very difficult to get out of this place, and if something went wrong, it would almost certainly be a death trap. You are 100% sure that you are being watched from inside the building, and with that many successes, you see the door there where you could gain entry. You're pretty sure someone is immediately on the other side of it.
And just to be player question, just to catch me up, we don't know exactly what kind of nonsense is inside, like creatures, vampires, that sort of thing. We know what's going on.
Nope, no idea. That apparently there is some sort of reality deviation you've not encountered before taking place in there. You only know that the werewolves declared these people enemies and thought they had eradicated all of them, but apparently haven't.
Well, we have immediate company on the other side of the door, not to mention it doesn't look like they want us getting out once we're inside. I'm going to kind of just nod towards the lack of exits.
I'm guessing the children are not the company on the other side.
I would wager not. If nobody else is moving,
just real quick, do you want to cash in your takeaway 3 dice here?
No.
I rolled 3 successes and 3 ones, so I was baiting.
At a dramatically appropriate moment, I assure you.
Oh shit, he's with us, isn't he?
Oh yes.
Mr. Gray, maybe you should stay outside.
I'm just gonna look at Mr. Gray and say, "Well, boss, what should we do?"
Oh, I am hardly your boss.
Mm.
I simply hold the purse strings. So if you wish to seek my approval for things, that is completely on you.
I work best with the boss, and you are very boss-like. So, boss, what should we do?
Well, if Damon says that there is hostiles on the other side of this, then I assume that we attempt to enter so that we can provide backup for Team Vanilla. Vanilla is nothing without their rum raisin rear entry.
How sharp is that sword?
It will do the job.
It thoroughly penetrates.
I'm just ready to go with my fists, so say the word.
Shall we? Now you said there was no fire exit, but there is a entry door.
There is a back door that looks more like the door to a meat locker. Honestly, it looks like it's heavy metal, and Damon's instinct is somebody's waiting on the other side of it. That you all have been seen, and that it is probably an ambush. There's no external sign of this. There's not people walking around on the roof with guns and stuff. It's just you all have been agents a long time, and you're like, yeah, I know what that is.
Well, an ambush is only an ambush if you don't know it is coming.
I feel like it's only fair warning, given the situation we're walking into. I might break some rules today.
Which rules?
We'll have to see when we get inside. I'm going to start walking up towards the door.
Wait. That's not how that works.
He hops out and starts walking over. The professor sits there, and you see he shifts the van into park. He's like, I'll keep an eye on things from out here.
Quite. As Agent Damon approaches the door, I would like to just give it a look. And as I do, I notice that perhaps they haven't kept up with the maintenance of this particular door as well as they should have. And perhaps the hinges on this meat locker style door have become rusty and have started to give way in such a manner that they might fall apart at the slightest touch.
Excellent. Give me matter.
Can I stack on top of that?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be entropy and matter or just matter?
Either. You could do it with entropy. It's 3 dice either way, so it's really more how you're defining it. Either of those could get it done. Yes. Damon.
Yeah. I guess I'm gonna hit my earpiece and let the other team know that we're making our way in. We're heading in, and then can I tell he's doing this to the door? Do I know?
Theoretically, you don't, because he hopefully. But I mean, I think again, you all have worked together long enough that I would say you have a hunch. If you wanted to try and do something else,
I might even say out loud that the hinges on that particular door look quite frail.
I am going to make my way up and try and just, with all the adrenaline pumping through me, knowing what's maybe on the other side, knowing that there are innocent people perhaps waiting, hurting on the other side, I am going to try and amp my punch and literally like Superman punch the door down with forces.
And what is Oz doing during all this?
Just like staring daggers at Maul and watching everything Maul is doing, while of course actively stretching and keeping the blood going in the background.
Right. Don't want to cramp up.
No, you can't get stiff.
Perfect. Having been informed of the physical frailty of the door, you might be able to calculate a pressure point to make this count with your advanced combat training. So yes, is this forces you're intending to use here?
Yeah, forces, martial arts, some combination of the two.
There are specific mystically infused attacks that you can use. Here, let me pull up ye old, how do you do that? I apologize because they put there's a lot of options that you can do with this. Okay, so roll for me. Yeah, just roll for me your strength and martial arts.
Not doing great so far. That is unfortunately only 2.
You see Damon walks up to this thing and boom, and the hinges do go boom, boom, and the hinges both pop, and the door dents heavily, but does not come off the hinges. But on the other side of the door, you all hear, come on, come on. Meanwhile, back up front, as you all are talking, that smaller person at the front of the sanctuary that you could see, Allison, very much comes forward into the darkness and says, I'm sorry, children. We are closed for the night. Do you have no place to lay your weary heads? I could not turn you back out into the darkness and cold and danger.
I don't know if you realize this, but you were nominated for one of those fancy makeover shows. So we're just here doing our planning. Completely ignore us. We'll be gone soon. So
yes, sorry, we didn't want to come during business hours because we didn't want to disturb all the sermons and whatever going on. But yes,
causes such a fuss.
All of our hours are business hours, but we care not for such mundane things. I'm afraid we would not be interested in any renovations that might disturb our work.
But think of how many more people you could help if more people knew about your place.
We do plenty of good with our outreach here, and that's when you hear, boom, come on, come on. Oh, dear. Now I'm afraid no one will be leaving.
At that moment, could I
It's a
open
good
up a
place
simple
for us
beneath
to
his
take
feet?
a break. So we're going to do our quick 10. And we will come back where all of this is going to be fine. It's going to be fine.
Oh my God.
So yeah, 10 minutes after. Don't go nowhere.
All right.
Raisin.
Boobs and butts.
Meanwhile, in the back, Team Rum Raisin, Oz, as you hear the thoom in the door. Come on! Come on! What would you like to do?
I want to battering ram rush in. If there's if I hear a voice on the other side of the door, I think that there's someone basically right in there, and I'm gonna try to rush in and bulldoze over this person on the other side of the door.
Are you going to try and do this using any of your mystical power or just your brute strength?
Well, if for Oz, they're one and the same. But there's the strength of the biological body, and there's the strength of the enhanced body in my leg. So
Perfect.
I guess how do I?
Okay. Let me look at your sheet, because yours is one of the ones I happen to have handy. Because you were correct. Some of your cybernetics might affect your stats, and then some of your things don't. Let me look at Oz.
As a point of note, if I can assist, I read that Forces 2 allows me to increase velocity. So if I could wind gust her through or something
so you just put your fist in the door.
True.
Oz, just give me your strength in martial arts, which is going to be 8 dice for you.
Great. That is 4 successes.
You see as Damon went boom and dent this thing kind of up into your forearm. A second later, Oz just flashes past you and puts her shoulder into it, and you see this whole meat locker like door come off its hinges and slide back and stop. and you see a head look up over it and look down at you. It is lumpy and misshapen with just wispy bits of gray hair coming out of the top of it. It looks vaguely human, but just sort of like you feel just fetid breath coming down on you as he grins with yellow rotted teeth. Yeah, holding on the door as you push it. Gray, when you see this, what do?
Well, I will unsheathe my sword.
Now it's a party.
Yep. And I would like to use a combination of entropy and matter to look at this individual and see if they have sort of any weak spots. I don't know if matter works on living things or not, but
it's life. It'd be entropy and life for that.
Yeah. Okay. I will unsheath my sword and advance behind Agent Damon and Agent Oz with the intent to attempt to stick this individual if I can get around the door.
You can roll either your strength or your dex in melee, but it's going to be a difficulty 7 because Oz is wrestling with the door here as he's wrestling with the door to manage to get to him.
Because it's sort of a finesse maneuver, could I use dexterity instead of strength?
Yep.
Where is it? Seven plus. That is 4 successes.
Excellent. Hang on a second here. Let me just check something real quick. As you lunge forward with your sword, you see he's got 2 hands on the door. Another hand comes out and just grabs the blade that looks much smaller than the other 2 hands. And you see it begins bleeding and it just stinks to high hell as this greenish yellow pussy blood goes all over the blade as he's holding on to it. Meanwhile, back up front, Artura, when you were told, I guess no one's leaving now, what is it that you wanted to do?
Conveniently timed, the sinkhole that has always been underneath this church, it's going to open up right below him when he says that.
Perfect. Go ahead and roll it for me.
That's 3 successes.
You see she says this and the floor gives and she jumps and flips backwards against the wall and sticks to it. In her head rotates all the way around and looks at you. And she goes, you'll have to do better than that. What does Belladonna do when she sees this? This woman is now upside down with her head on backwards looking at you as she clings to the wall.
Yeah, I'm going to shoot her with my... Hang on, let me figure out which one. The Big's X6, because I'm not playing with that.
Is that your wondrous? Is that your wondrous item, or your wonder rather? Mikaela? What did we decide? It's got its own forces rating. Was that how that works?
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Give me a second. I'll find her thing.
I know. I'm like Allison. Excess records of Agent Belladonna's secret weaponry. I just appreciate Jackie O's like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, no.
Okay, so she rolls her dex and firearms with a difficulty of 6 because of her attunement. And then after that, she rolls the arete of the gun, which is 4 to activate the plasma charge. 6 to 8 for coincidental. vulgar with witnesses.
Yep.
And then the number of successes determines the damages, which is based on the chart on 504.
Perfect. So first, give me
All
Dex
right.
and firearms.
Dex and firearms.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3 successes.
Okay. Hang on.
You said it was a challenge of 7?
That's 6. That's to
6.
make sure that you can hit her.
Okay. Yeah, still 3 successes.
Okay. You see she immediately goes to leap out of the way because she also got 3. However, ties go to the active person, so you're gonna wing her as she jumps out of the way as this weapon goes off. So now you can roll your damage, which is 4 dice.
Okay. And still need above a 6?
Yeah.
That's 2 successes.
2 successes. Hang
So
on, let me.
3 ag.
Yeah. As she jumps, you wing her in the leg, and you all hear it sizzle and burn as she flips over and lands on one of the confessional booths and just kind of like shakes her leg for a second. And she goes, what is Allison going to do?
Silver round to the forehead.
Okay. Go ahead and roll it.
Badoo and Badoo. I think I'm going to spend a willpower.
Okay. 1 guaranteed success.
2, 3. 3 9s plus the willpower.
So 4 successes.
4 successes.
She only got 3 on her dodge, so that is enough.
And that's a single shot, so 5 dice of damage.
Okay.
4.
4 successes, 4 damage. Boom! You shoot her, and you see she tries to get out of the way, but can't. As you like wing her across the head, and she reels for a second and says, "You won't stop us! You will never stop us!" And she crawls like a spider into the sinkhole that Art opened. Meanwhile, back outside, Damon, you see Oz is still charging forward into this door with whatever this is holding it. Gray has gone to stab it, and a third smaller hand has appeared and grabbed it, and it's just standing there laughing, essentially holding both of them in place.
So literally it's like it's a they're pushing against each other.
Literally. Yeah. Like she was driving in and he caught it and stopped it and is like pushing backwards, but he's like laughing like he's enjoying this. It's not funny to anybody else.
Okay. Do I see anything interesting else around the room? Any children? Anybody else?
Give me perception and let me see here. Give me perception and awareness.
Don't fuck me, awareness. 5 minus 1, 4.
You absolutely hear the sound of gunfire, and what you know is the sound of Agent Nightshade's weapon going off. The of when that thing fires. So they've engaged something.
Okay.
But you don't know. And pow, 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 pow from Allison shooting.
But like nobody innocent nearby.
Not that you can tell. It is very dark in here. There's again no light whatsoever.
So then, coincidentally, much as what happened before, this place is just full of sinkholes. But this one's smaller. And as he kind of takes, a step to brace, I would like his foot to kind of sink into the ground so that we have that leverage to push him over.
Give me either entropy or matter.
Oh wait, I don't have those. I was thinking I could use forces to just kind of like crumble the ground, but you're right.
Yeah. You would have to explain it differently for forces to do that. Forces is capable of doing that, but you would need a different rationale for why that happens.
Okay. It just so happens, that a slight unusual tremor doesn't read much on the scale, the Richter scale there, just kind of happens to shudder through at the moment, and just due to some of the other structural denigrations and things or whatever that have taken over the floor of the building as it kind of shifts and rocks. Hopefully with his heavy weight, it's enough to...
It's an old building, they settle at times. I could see that this is driving forward. He puts his foot through a plank. Sure. Go ahead and roll it for me.
3.
Excellent. He steps back and you do hear and he stumbles backwards and he goes, yeah, you tried this, pretty man. And he goes to grab Gray and slam you into the wall, which you can give me your dex and athletics to try and avoid. However, now is when I'm going to take those 3 dice away from you.
I roll 0 dice.
He grabs you, Gray, and bashes you into the wall for 5 levels of damage. You hear the wall cracks and crumbles, and you hear Gray grunt as he slammed through it. Squishy man.
Isn't that just crippled on the health bar here? 5 health points.
That's that is significant damage. Let's see here. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just mauled.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not mauled. You're just 2 from the bottom.
You're just mauled. Yeah.
It's better like this. Trust me.
Right. Yeah. Although you all know Gray's hurt. Oz, when you see this, is you do feel you're pushing forward and you make some progress as he slipped through this busted floor, but is now crashed Gray into the wall. What does Oz do?
Oh, torn between my desire to help Gray and keep putting the pressure on this creature. Are we in now?
Yeah, you've kind of pushed your way into this I guess it's not a vestibule when you come in the back door, but I guess this entry hallway essentially on the other side of the door is where you are now.
So I'm
sorry, I've scared the puppy with all of this. He's actually going to be okay. It's fine. Yeah, right.
I'm gonna say, Damons, can you get the door?
My pleasure. I'm gonna move up and do so.
Mm-hmm.
And as he moves up to kind of take over from where I am, I want to try to slip out and get hands on Gray to basically. Okay, again, I'm not the savviest with the mage mechanics. So what I'd like to do is, use my sense. Basically use life and forces, I think, but use my sense of the human body to as I'm feeling him, get a sense of where I can stitch together some sort of healing.
I would say you've got some stim packs, some field medical that you can just kind of stab him with.
Yeah.
Which with your life effect will help him. Great.
So then I'm gonna give him the old Oz protein shake.
All right. Go ahead and roll your 3 dice.
That is 2 successes.
You can, with life, you can heal him. I'm just looking up exactly how much you can heal him there. Let's see. I have several different places to look. Mikaela.
It's the same as the damage and durations chart. So the damage healed is the same as what you would cause.
If you have that in front of you, is how much?
Actually, it's on my little thingy. My my difficulty calculator. Hold on. 2 successes is 2 levels.
I'm in the wrong place. Yes, Gray, you feel she injects you here in the cracked rib that you feel like the pain kind of goes away as it begins to like reset slightly as she rushes to your aid.
And you hear the gentle tones of Oz being like, in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth.
Meanwhile, back up front, Belladonna, Art, and Allison, you've seen this thing go scurrying down into this very black hole. So much so, Allison, you should be able to see down in there. You still can't. It just smells like sweat and all sorts of unpleasant human bodily functions.
Were the minds of the children folk, did I get an idea of elevation?
They felt like they were upstairs.
Okay.
And Art, you didn't know this when you did it, but as this is broken down, you see down in here, there is a cavernous space underneath this church. But again, it is very hard to see, jet black.
Is there supposed to be?
You couldn't really find any blueprints or anything, but it seems unusual that a church of this age has a space this significant underneath it.
Great, cool. Just for good measure, right now, that sinkhole is going to continue to sink just a little bit and sort of seal itself a little bit, just so nothing comes out of that hole.
You're gonna try and close it in on her,
and just a little.
Yeah. Roll again.
Three again.
As the floor continues to shake and shift, one of the confessionals, boom, boom. And in the silence, you hear, oh, squishy man, coming from somewhere that away. What would you three like to do?
I mean, I feel like in my future, I'm going to be blasting at something that away.
Yeah, I think we should charge in and do the non-squishy man and shoot him from behind.
Yep.
As all of you give me perception and awareness, it'd be difficulty 8. For you, Allison, it'll still be difficulty 6. It should not be this hard for you to see, and yet...
Oh my! This is just exploding 10 after exploding 10.
Mm-hmm.
But six successes.
For you, it's like radar, Allison. You are aware as you all come around that corner, there are 2 other figures in the darkness. You just barely catch a glimpse of them as they turn and run upstairs to the left, but you are aware of the noise of combat and everything is to the right. So you would be able to find your way to the rest of your team very easily if you wanted, or you could pursue the 2 people that ran upstairs.
Considering I know it's the kids upstairs, I'll go there.
You're going to head upstairs?
Yeah.
I would say Belladonna. How many for you, Belladonna?
I got 1 success, so I will follow.
You hear combat and chaos, but you see Allison very much is just like left, right, left, right, opens the door, up some stuff. Like she seems like she knows exactly where she's going.
Oh, I trust Allison when Allison is in Allison mode, so I absolutely will follow her lead.
Perfect. So it's the 3 of you head upstairs. Back downstairs, Gray, actually Damon. Now you have the door. Oz is tending to Gray, who seems like he's breathing a little easier, and this man is moving backwards as he's lost his footing, but he is very strong, whatever he is.
And I still can't see around the door. We're just playing pushies with the door.
You can only see him because he's bigger than the door. You know, that he's looking at you over it, which means he's north of 7 foot.
Could I reach him with my fist?
Yeah.
This can be a verb.
Through the back door.
Yeah. There's only one way to do the back door, and this is it.
This is it. Yep.
I mean, as he goes to laugh, then I would like to. I'm gonna just straight up punch him in the face. See how that goes.
Charging it with your forces.
Yep. Preferably.
Perfect. Give me your dex and martial arts, or strength and martial arts, pending which way you're going about this.
Okay. He said strength and martial arts, right?
Mm-hmm. Or dex, whichever's higher for you.
Okay. 5 total.
Excellent. Hold on a second here.
No, you mean oh no, I rolled poorly. He's still rolling. Okay.
No, it exploded twice, but he only got 3 successes total. So as he's like, squishy baby man, you crack into him, and you see he slips and kind of falls back against the wall, and the door kind of like pins him underneath it. And you see he's and coughs up this same greenish purple pus filled blood on the door that sort of dribbles down. And he's like, I guess you win, okay?
I'm gonna look over. Mr. Gray looks like he's okay now ish.
I mean, he's beat up, but he's on his feet.
I'll slowly kind of pace over to where his head's poking out of the door. Do we need anything from him?
I don't think so.
Well, I'm gonna look down. No more words. And I'm just going to punch him in the face and flatten his head into the ground.
What does Oz do as you see Damon just sort of like...
Oz very instinctively reacts like to... yep. Yeah. And then she like very pointedly kind of looks the other way.
It takes 4 or 5 shots, Oz, and he's still laughing through about the first 3 of them. Until there's silence.
Very good, then.
Where are the kids?
Meanwhile, up the stairs, all of you give me your perception and awareness again. Just 6 this time. No penalties. It's still black dark up here.
Two successes.
2, 3, 2. The first thing you smell when you get up here is antiseptic. Very stinging, burning, bites at your eyes, medicinal alcohol smell. Like industrial grade chemicals are being used up here. And you hear 2 voices talking. If our facility has been breached, you know what we must do. Yes, but we cannot risk losing this crop. We will lose them either way. At least in death, they will still be of service. What would you all like to do?
I'm going to kind of just clear the way and gesture towards the door to Belladonna. This is your specialty.
Yeah, I'd like to follow that voice.
Between you and Allison, you find so this is probably a 4-story building. You're up on the 2nd floor now where you're hearing all of this. And there is a door at the end of a hallway that is standing open, but you can't see past it. Again, it is just inky pitch black in here. Allison, even with your enhancements, you should be able to see, and it's hard for you to.
Okay, so I'll be doing all of my quote vision based on probability.
I mean, you rolled so well before. I'm like, you still are kind of able to navigate through here. It's just much harder than it should be.
Okay, well, I'll be using entropy to kind of guide everything. Is where I'm going with that. Like with they don't know where electrons are when they're orbiting in an atom. They only know where the probability is within its quantum state. So I'm basically playing quantum odds instead of looking.
Speed or location. It's not possible to know both. Yep. Is you all ease a little closer here, you all hear a noise that sounds like and it's something you haven't heard in many years, since the three of you were very little girls, like a projector from school being run, like a reel-to-reel film projector. Like that noise it makes when it's played through and is just spinning.
Is that in the same direction?
Mm-hmm. The voices and that noise all came from the same direction. That like heavy medicinal smell is everywhere in here.
Gonna follow that noise slowly and carefully.
As you peek around the corner, Belladonna, you see two more figures. They are not wearing gray robes like the ones you saw downstairs. They're wearing mottled white robes. And you see both of them have big bottles of something that they are filling syringes with, and it is hard to see. You can see at the far end of the room, there are 4 high-back chairs, which you can see figures in, like they're tied down to the chairs. And there is a flickering projector on the wall, like they were being shown something that is run out.
Are they small figures?
They are small figures.
All right. Go ahead.
No, I want that film projector to kind of get caught and freeze on a frame. Mm-hmm. And there's just an extra piece of film that's cut into this strip that they were playing. And it says, "Follow the rainbow."
Roll it for me. Roll your 3 dice.
That's 2.
That happens. Follow the rainbow, just flickers there.
And as that happens on the wall, sort of next to where the projector is going, just the littlest bit of light reflects off of something in this room. Maybe it's the projector itself. Maybe it's Belladonna's gun. Maybe it's someone's glasses. I don't know. But it creates one of those little, just that tiny little reflective rainbow that's hovering on the wall right now.
Okay. Perfect. And Allison, what is Allison doing?
This is not the room with the 2 people in it?
These are the 2. You would surmise those are the 2 people. The ones filling the syringe are the ones you heard talking.
I think I'm going to close quarters faster and do my entropy-laden martial arts.
Go ahead and roll it.
I think I'm going to be able to do that a little bit easier. So the martial arts roll is 2, 3, 4, 5 with an explode, 6, and then I got a 1, so it's 5 successes. And then the entropy is going to be 2 successes. Actually, 6 and a 7 and a 3. So
you come behind this person and crack. and just drops like a sack of potatoes as you hit him right in the liver, certain you lacerated something. The second one turns and looks at you and says, I give up. I am a scientist. And has the bottle and the syringe in his hand.
I have my gun drawn.
Meanwhile, downstairs, the three of you also give me your perception and alertness. Awareness. Actually, alertness or awareness, to tell you the truth, whichever's higher. 2, 5. Four. Again, you all are moving cautiously through here, especially because all you heard was the sounds of gunplay from the rest of the team in silence. And both Gray and Damon, you all see from one of the doors, it opens and you hear, and it closes.
It looks like that door seems to be a little weak.
You want to go in there, boss?
We should leave no stone unturned.
Say no more. And I'm gonna pull my bulldozer move to try to get that door down.
This time you hit it and it just shatters like into toothpicks. And when you break through the door, you see it leads to a stairwell, and there is a woman crawling down the side of it like a spider, up on the side of the downward staircase, down into the darkness.
Do we follow it, or do we find the children? I feel like the children is probably more important.
This is not cowardice speaking, but I feel that we should probably have the entire team before we descend into the darkness after a spider woman.
Are you sure you should be descending at all in that shape?
I don't know what you're talking about. I am right as rain.
He's feeling better. He's better.
You all do have, technological means of communicating.
Yeah, I was about to do the ear tap.
Mm-hmm.
Allison, how are things looking on your end?
You are muted, Allison.
Children located. We are neutralizing targets.
Do you need assistance?
If available.
Did she say she was neutralizing children?
Children located.
I was neutering children.
I was expressly told not to do so. Over.
No children are being neutralized.
Ah, good, I suppose.
Allison, where are you?
Second floor.
That's up. We should go up.
Meanwhile, upstairs, the three of you see this. He's got the syringe and the chemical vial. The first one, when you hit him, dropped, and you don't know what this is, but it smells horrific, whatever they were filling the syringes with. And he says, I am a scientist. Don't shoot. I'm a religious. I'm like a monk. You shouldn't harm a man of the cloth.
Hands up on your knees.
Might I place this down?
Yes. Down. Hands up on your knees.
He does drop to his knees and kind of puts his hands behind his head.
I'm untying the children and moving that rainbow sort of along the wall, across the floor, and towards the door.
As you get there, it is a terrible scene out of some sort of movie. They have been restrained and forced to watch whatever was on that tape that's been aired. In it, they're all alive. They look very malnourished, very mistreated, like they have been deprived both mentally and physically, but they are alive. This is 4 of them, Allison. You detected 9.
Okay, then she's going to first off scan the bastard in front of us just to make sure that this isn't a potential trick. I can also layer the mind on it to make sure that he's not lying.
Yes, that's so I was about to say scan him how? Mind?
It'll be mind for that, and then I want to make sure that if he's a deviant in any other way, that's accounted for.
Well, first roll your 3 dice for mind.
2. Actually, no. I'm sorry. That's 3 because it's only a 4, right? Difficulty. Yeah.
Yep. He is a coward. He is stalling for time. He is just doing whatever he has to do to keep his head on his shoulders till an opportunity presents itself.
I take the end of my gun and I hit him in the brow bone and then stick it right in his left temple in his left eyeball. Where are the other children?
At this hour, they are mostly should be in bed upstairs.
Oh, you'd better hope they are. Because if you're not telling me the truth right now, somebody's going to have to mop you up off the floor.
Well, we had these pupils that were having their routine schedule enlightenment. The others were being allowed to sleep for a time.
Here's what's going to happen. You're going to come with us. You're going to come willingly. You're going to answer all our questions. Or else it's going to be really hard to get you off the grout.
I am not a man of violence. I am a thinker as well as a theologian, a philosopher, if you will. How were you attempting to find out if he was some other sort of deviant, Allison?
Mind and prime.
Go ahead and roll it.
10, 6, 6, 10 again, and then a 2. So it's still just 4.
Something's up with him. He has that same entropic resonance that this whole building has, but it's different. Again, it's not like the Marauders. It's not Paradox, but he's tainted somehow.
Okay.
This one is compromised. And I'm going to proceed scanning upstairs.
At this moment, Damon, Oz, and Gray walks in, and Gray looks absolutely beat to hell. He's attempting to keep a stern face of it, but he's leaning very heavily on that walking stick. You all see the scene of this man on his knees, now bleeding from his brow with the barrel of Belladonna's gun pressed to his eye as Art is loosening the bonds on 4 children in these high-back chairs.
Okay.
This individual.
What was that, boss?
Who is this?
Claims to be a doctor. He is affected in some way.
He's running experiments on these children.
Not experiments. Enlightenment.
Tell you what.
Enlighten me. Enlighten me.
What was that, Artur?
Enlightenment.
Yes, Artura, by the way.
I would like to pick up the syringe that he put on the ground, and I'm not going to hit the plunger, but I'm going to go ahead and put it in his arm.
No, you must be quite careful with that. The effects are quite pronounced.
So not experimenting, though.
Oh, experimentation implies that the outcome is uncertain I'm quite clear on what will happen should you inject me with that.
Right here.
Speak.
What she said, you're going to do that, or you're going to become enlightened.
You all hear your comms all crackle at once as the professor says, excuse me, there is another van approaching from the other end of the alleyway. I believe they are heading this direction. Would you like me to attempt to intercept?
If you'd be so kind, Professor.
Yes.
Yes. I shall deal with it, but should you hear gunplay, please send backup forthwith.
I can take the children out and assist the professor if you all would like.
I don't know that.
Handle this one right here.
I'm sure I'm probably going to be fine. I have an 87% likelihood of being more than capable of handling this. Perhaps you all should secure the area, but if one of you could maybe just poke and head out back, that might be ideal. Yes, Oz.
I was going to say, maybe we don't bring the children out to the professor. I fear for what would happen to them in that.
No. I shall, I can compose myself, temporarily, for the good of the mission. Yes, just please, do try to avoid allowing any of them to touch me in any way, though.
I would have sent them out the front. They're nowhere near you. It's okay.
No, they can ride in the van. They can get. Oh dear. Yes, I'm going to need to intervene out here. If one of you could pop out back, that would be lovely. Professor out.
I will. Again, with the rainbow. Do the kids pay attention to it at all, or have they been
Not
completely
even a little bit?
Great. Cool.
They're basically catatonic.
I'm going to sort of lead them out of this room and at the very least put them back against the wall.
You have to tell them what you want them to do. They're quite pliable.
They will need to be reprogrammed.
Hey, well, that's quite a harsh way to.
Was there anything like near this church on the way in? I know it's really early in the morning right now, but
yeah, it's a standard street. You think it's mostly residential.
Okay. So we'll kind of step out of the room. Just
when you say that,
no.
Gray, give me whatever dice pool you've been rolling to simulate your mastery of finance, up to and including, well, finance isn't a thing in this version of it, but intelligence and whatever you've been using to simulate your financial knowledge.
Oh,
again, that's the challenge. They're all like 10% different. Finance is a skill in V5. It is not a skill in Mage 20.
How about intelligence and technology?
Acceptable.
Hot damn, we got exploding dice over here, y'all.
Excellent.
That is 5 successes.
You didn't think too much of it at the time, but now that you're in here and you hear Artura thinking out loud about what else is on this street, is you were tracing those Pentex investments. They made massive real estate investments in this area all about the same time. They bought up a lot of stuff.
Agent Artura, I believe...
Doctor.
Yes. Doctor, I believe that it is most prudent that we remove the children from the entire area rather than seeking sanctuary in any local establishment. This area is heavily invested and infested.
All right. Well, Oz, you look like you're good with children. Do you think that you could make sure they don't meet too much more trouble while I go help the professor?
Sure. Yes, of course. And I like kind of shuffle over to where Artura is with the children. I'm like, and step this way.
All
1, 2.
of you feel a wave of nausea go through you. In all of you that have any mastery of time, realize there has been a massive time distortion.
I've got to go, and I'll run downstairs to see what the professor's up to.
Slight miscalculation that it was going to result in mortality. That's okay. It's been undone. Just nothing, another little nosebleed. I can't. Oh, yes. Perhaps, yes, back up out here, please.
I'm on my way.
Yes, Agent Nightshade.
Would I be able to use clairvoyance to gain any sort of knowledge of what this doctor that I now have in my under my care, or I don't know what the right word for it is, but like keep my hostage. Custody. Yeah. There we go. Hostage. Yeah. Would I be able to gain any insight into what his role and what he was doing with that?
So clairvoyance will kind of let you see into actual spaces. But you mean as a mind effect?
Yes.
I'll give you you could just roll mind to just kind of try and peer into his head here.
Okay.
Yep. In Oz is tending to the children, correct?
Yes.
Again, as you say, come forward, they do it. Mm-hmm. Like anything you tell them to do, they do. Damon, what is Damon doing during all of this? Because there are 2 more floors upstairs and at least 5 unaccounted for children and at least 2 unaccounted for hostiles.
Do you want me to just roll? Am I just rolling straight mind, or am I rolling mind and correspondence? Because that's what clairvoyance was. Just
the 3 dice.
Straight mind. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What's the challenge?
6.
2 successes.
You don't get any sense of leadership. You get the distinct impression he does think of himself as a scientist. You get absolutely no regret whatsoever. He's concerned about his self-awareness. About his self-preservation. He feels no guilt, no remorse. He didn't feel bad about any of this at all.
Okay. Here's what's going to happen. You are going to cooperate. And for any time you flinch, I'm going to shoot off a toe.
I understand the parameters of the experiment now, yes.
Okay. Am I going to have to restrain you, or are you going to come willingly?
I am not a man of fisticuffs. I am a man of science. Yes, I will be quite cooperative.
Great. And just so we're clear, I'm still going to shoot a pinky toe right now, just so he knows I mean business.
Boom. And you notice, especially those of you that saw the other one, when he bleeds, it's normal, standard human blood that comes out of his boot when he's been shot. Art, when you get downstairs, you see there is an ice cream truck parked out back. And there are 2 men opening up the back of it, and one of them throws a very large gray sack over his shoulder. And you hear the professor come through the comms. Don't ask me how I know, but those men are both very heavily armed and quite crack shots.
Professor, are you in that bag right now?
Oh, no, I'm still over in our van.
What's in the bag?
I hesitate to say I believe you already know.
Oh.
Yes.
All right. This isn't an alley, right?
Yeah, like they've pulled the van up basically at the back of the loading zone. Your van is a little about half a block further down.
Great. Perfect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a shame that this church hasn't really been kept up. It's real old. They should have just taken our advice and refurbished it. But if you look up at that flying buttress up there, it's real loose. It's going to fall directly on that van. Or on that ice cream truck, rather, I suppose.
Roll matter. You hear boom, and one of them jumps back, and at that exact second, from over by the van, you hear boom, 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 as you see the professor standing there with his Desert Eagle and hit 3 bullets center mass on the guy that jumps back, and he goes, "Ha ha! Round 2!" and comes running forward towards you. Damon, meanwhile, inside, especially when you hear the gunplay outside and the crash of all of this, what is Damon doing?
Where are the rest of the kids?
They are on the top floor.
Excellent. Why is he still alive?
I'm sure I can be of significant use, if only for my scientific knowledge in advancement for the cause of enlightenment. I would be willing to teach
up.
all of.
Belladonna, why is he still alive?
There are greater realities that you are unaware of. That is all I have to say.
For answers, for now. But every time he doesn't cooperate, and I'll just shoot another toe.
I will be of less use if I am unable to ambulate.
I know. Better hope he can cooperate.
It looks like she has it under control. I'm going to head upstairs.
Perfect. Yes, Gray.
Do the children respond at all to the gunshots right in there?
They don't even flinch. When Oz asks them to do things, they do it, but they don't flinch, they don't jump, they don't react. Dame, yes, Oz.
I was just going to comment that, though, like, while this is happening behind them, I'm just leading them in like a kind of a Tai Chi style, like breathing exercise and movement.
They do it, but it is clear to you they've gotten no exercise.
Mm-hmm.
They try, but it's the bare minimum. Damon.
The human body is a resilient instrument.
As you run up, give me your perception and alertness this time.
Okay, I do have that, thankfully.
Mm-hmm.
One more. 3.
As you're heading up the stairs to the top floor, at the top of the stairs, you can see there is a landing and there is a door that is heavily locked on the outside. And you're 100%. There's 2 hostiles kind of standing to the left and right of the door. Like another ambush.
Oh, is in like on the other side, but it's locked from my side?
The door is locked on our side and here outside, but they're kind of like to the left and right, essentially. Up at the top of the stairs, waiting in ambush.
Okay, cool. Is it just me right now?
I mean, did anyone else go with him when he went upstairs?
My plan is to go up because the kids are a priority right now.
Okay, Allison's with you, and yes, Gray?
I would like to do well, refresh me. I apologize. Has anybody done a mind? We have done mind on this nerd here that and
to know if he was lying and know his part in this are the inquiries that have been made of his mind so far.
Yep, and he's a coward and has no remorse for the things that he's done, correct?
He is a remorseless coward and he is a deviant of some sort. He's not like the standard kind that you all catch. But he is a deviation.
Agent Belladonna, if I may, I feel that this individual may have some potential scientific knowledge that we could obtain from him. But by and large, I think that he is filth that needs to be erased from this existence.
What?
Please dispatch of him, and let's move on.
And
Yes,
I'll
Bella.
just right between the eyes, just
Like, you don't understand the secrets I can share.
He is a liability that we cannot contain as we secure this location.
agreed. Let's move on.
Thank you.
So, Allison, you and Damon again are here at essentially on the third floor at the bottom of a staircase that leads up to a locked door with two hostiles that are basically kind of waiting around the corner. Damon's instincts definitely have, you're like, nah, yeah.
And am I also detecting that the children are in the same room?
The kids are on the other side of the locked door. The door is locked from the outside. They've been locked inside.
Okay.
The last two deviant patterns you detected are up there, and the 5 remaining children are definitely inside.
Okay. Then these need to be dispatched.
Meanwhile, outside, Artura, is you walk over and see your handiwork of the buttress having collapsed on the ice cream truck, and pinned the leg of one of these people that has dropped the sack, and you realize a very large and odd-looking gun has fallen out of his hand and slid out of his reach. As he's like,
Do you want me to get that for you? I'm going to pick up the gun and shoot him.
He looks like, who the hell? And you see an odd greenish flame leaps out of this and burns him down. And when he does, you hear a squealing coming from the gray bag.
Okay. Shh. I'm going to kind of just like loosen it and step back.
You see the professor very much like when he sees that and kind of like starts backing up towards the van and holstering his weapon.
You go.
Inside, you see 2 red-ringed eyes filled with tears and terror.
Hey. You can come out.
Well,
The other dude's dead, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Okay.
The professor
don't
iced
want
one
to
of
pull
them.
this kid out into active fire, you know.
Yeah, there's 2 kids in there.
Okay.
Will you take us home to our mom?
Sure. Who's your mom?
Her name is Tanya. My address is 1411 17th Street.
Is that nearby?
Yeah. It's Emily.
Isn't everything nearby in New York? And it's all right around Central Park, right?
It's all a subway right away.
It's not nearby.
I hear
Cockroach
it's a
wills
really
it.
small community, very tight knit.
Easy to get around.
Yes, 100%. I can take you to your mom, but right now we gotta be super brave, okay?
I'm gonna take care of my sister.
You're gonna be a knight when you grow up, right?
Yeah, definitely. Or a superhero. I could be a super knight.
That's very convenient. I'm gonna kind of like duck around into the crushed ice cream truck because it's more believable that it would come out of there. And lo and behold, there's gonna be a child's like foam fighting sword in there. And I'm gonna pull it out and I'm gonna hand it to the kid. This way you can protect her.
Yes. Thank you. Yes.
All right. You guys are gonna come with me.
You see, he puts his hand over his sister's eyes and he goes, "Are those guys dead?"
They're taking a real long nap. You know what? I'm going to be here when they wake up and they won't be able to find you ever again.
Okay.
All right. Okay. But that's good. That's good. You know what? In fact, let's do this the smart way. Hold your sister's hand real tight. Now hold on to my hand.
Okay. You close your eyes. Okay.
And you close your eyes too. All right.
I can't fight with my eyes closed, though.
You know what? I'm going to protect you just for this one little bit, and then you'll be able to fight off all the bad guys.
Okay. Yes. Perfect.
And I'm going to kind of take them just a little bit further up around the block so that they aren't in direct proximity to either the professor or the dead bodies.
Uh-huh.
But that I still have a really good vantage point on this church, particularly the higher levels, to see if, explosions or fire or bodies come flying out of any of those windows.
Got it.
You guys did it. You're here. You're safe.
Perfect. Meanwhile, inside, Damon and Allison, you are here. There's 2 hostiles. What would you all like to do?
You want to take one? I take one?
Yeah, I'll go left.
All right, I'll go right. Same as last time.
You're in entropy powered attacks and your forces powered attacks, presumably, Damon?
Yeah.
Both of you roll.
Four successes on the martial arts. If 7 or better, 5 if 6.
And 6 is good.
And then 2 on the entropy.
Perfect.
In its martial arts and forces?
It is martial arts first to see if you attack them, and then forces.
Okay.
Yep.
4 on martial arts.
Perfect. They rolled very poorly. And then make your forces check.
Thankfully, I rolled some explosions. That was 1, 2, 3, -1, 2.
Believe it or not, they rolled poorly. So as you come up, both of them jump around the corner, and they both look like they have gray, scaly skin that is almost crocodilian and sharp pointed teeth. And they both have knives. Allison, you effortlessly duck under and just crack this guy again, piercing a lung. You're sure of it as he sort of like falls to the ground, coughing. Damon, you hit your guy as well, and he kind of stumbles backwards, but the fight is not quite all gone out of him as he lashes out at you. Actually, he doesn't lash too poorly. Give me your dex and athletics, Damon.
All right. Oh, well, not looking good. You said Dex and Athletics? I think that was a grand total of 1.
He slashes out at you with this knife for 4 levels of damage. Bites you all across the top and cuts your suit open, and your tie falls off completely there. He's but you would be able to attack him again, sir.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. I don't need to say anything. I'm just going to be able to put my fist through his face.
Yeah, go ahead and roll it.
Yeah, okie dokie. You said martial arts. That was 5 on martial arts.
As you cut him, he stops and licks the knife, and he goes, "It's too late. It's too late. You can't do it." And Damon just squashes the guy, and you're alone outside of this locked door.
You might be more presentable for kids.
Yeah, you can see.
That's funny.
Damon is massively wounded. It will definitely be a scar.
Okay, I'll examine the lock just to make sure that it's.
Yep, they're just like heavy sliding bars type thing.
So I can open them. Okay. Checking the perimeter of the door, making sure there's nothing.
You check for traps. Yep. Nope.
Check for traps.
Seems straightforward. And as you open it, there are 5 beds inside with 5 sleeping children. And here, having rescued your charges and dispatched of at least some of the vile cultists that have taken them into custody, except for that one that got away, is a good place for us to stop.
Hmm.
I'm positive that's not going to come back and haunt us.
Lash, you've heard of it. Lash, you've
Spider
heard of it.
Lady is totally left forever.
Yeah.
She's retired and gone to Florida.
Well, she was the last one of them, so they can't. It's what's she going to do by herself, right?
Yeah,
Right.
I'm sure it's nothing.
Oz hasn't even checked her text messages in like 2 hours. That's where the real drama is.
That is where the real drama is. We'll save that for the after show.
This is actually a dating sim.
Sure, Oz it is.
There we'll call it rum raisin eggplant.
Yep.
Unsubscribe.